We're fully into the swing of the 2019 election cycle, and there is no doubt that there's a lot of economic activity in the air, from media spending to allegations of vote buying rife in the air. My name is Isabella Akinseye, and welcome to Politico Politica.
The Nigeria of the future is for dreamers like me.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
Our local government areas must become special economic zones.
I hope to disrupt the politics of failure.
There will be no sacred cow.
Dissolve all the congresses, dissolve the convention, and start all over again.
Mr. President, my people are under siege.
Leadership is not about the position you hold.
You can't shut down your shop and be chasing criminals.
If you allow criminals, there will be no shop.
Find ways to fix your judiciary.
That's what say I.
And most importantly, fix the mind of the people.
The party must do what is right.
Nigeria suffers from a state of economic radiculopathy, social sciatica, and political dystopia.
Welcome back to Politico Politica with me, your host, Isabella Akinseye. Let's meet our guest. He is the founder and CEO of Sogato Strategies LLC, a global strategy, risk, and macroeconomic advisory firm. He was educated at the London School of Economics and Political Science, PhD, MPhil, the Fletcher School at Tufts University, MA, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, LLB, and the Institute of Risk Management in London, the United Kingdom. As Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria from 2009 to 2014, he led the execution of extensive reforms in the Nigerian banking system after the global financial crisis. As Professor of International Business and Public Policy at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University in Massachusetts, he has taught, trained, and inspired graduate students from more than 40 countries. He has worked for 17 years at the United Nations. He is a visionary thinker and thought leader. He's the author of several books and an international keynote speaker. He is the presidential candidate of Young Progressive Party. He is Professor Kingsley Moghalu. Professor Moghalu, welcome to Politico Politica.
Thank you.
So we'll go straight into our topic of the day. I want to look at the economics of politics. What's the relationship between economics and politics?
There is a subject called political economy in which I am an expert. And that deals with the interrelationship between political and institutional interests and how the market, how those interests affect the markets, how they affect the economy, and vice versa. But more importantly, in Nigeria and in many developing countries, it's the politics first. If you don't get the politics right, it's difficult to get the economy right, which is why I decided to not be content with being a political economist, but to become a political leader, so that I can bring vision, political vision, to the organization of state institutions, so that our markets can actually become, our economy can function better.
So the politics drives the economics. Yes. But can you separate the two? Can you do one without the other?
No, you can't. You can't, because even if you are just a trader in a market, you're not interested with in the politicians, you have no interactions with them. The policies they set at the top or don't set affect your own livelihood down there. The foreign exchange situation, you can call it an economic situation, but it is also a political situation in terms of how should we manage our foreign exchange. If a president says, even though the central bank is independent, but the president says that he wants the exchange rate fixed, and the central bank decides to surrender its influence and listen to the president and fix the foreign exchange rate. That's what happened in Nigeria in 2015, and that's a very major reason why Nigeria went into recession.
So now let's bring this home to political season. Yes. The economics of politics.
Yes.
How prudent have our political leaders and politicians seeking elective office been in their spending to get into elective office?
Not prudent at all. I mean, the waste involved in the economics of politics in Nigeria. That is the economics of of how to win elections is humongous. First of all, Nigeria is a poverty-stricken country. Our politicians have no agenda. The recycled old politicians have not had any real transformational agenda in this country other than to just keep perpetuating themselves in power. And because the people are poor, and the people are poor because of the failure of the political leadership to create a sound economy, they exploit the people's poverty by buying their votes, trying to rig elections through vote buying. So again, what we have in this country is not really politics. It's politics as a business. In more advanced countries, the politics is about philosophy, it's about ideology. So when people are contesting for power, it is a contest of ideas. It's a contest of beliefs about how the democracy should be arranged, the role of the people, how the economy should be arranged, not in Nigeria. And this is actually the first election, and partly because of the entry of people like me in politics, that we are moving more now towards an issues-based type of discussion, which people like me have forced into the political arena. So what we have is a political industrial complex where you have the owners of Nigeria PLC who think that they and their children own this country. And they just bribe everybody, win elections, and recycle themselves every 4 years. Now, what happens, for example, is that they will tell you that it will take you not less than 50 billion naira to win the presidency, right? But the truth they will not tell you is that 40 billion of that 50 billion will end up in the private pockets of many of the party bigwigs or the campaign chiefs. And maybe only 10 billion will be actually spent. So this is why there is an illusion that it's going to cost you the whole world to be able to win an election. I'm not saying that politics is not expensive. It is expensive. Just the logistics alone, moving around, costs a lot of money. The advertising costs a lot of money. But those are legitimate expenses. So if it was just there, it's still expensive enough. But on top of it, the people who now make a business out of politics, who make a living out of politics, that's where we have the problem in this country. And that's where the economics of politics goes wrong.
So do you see this politics being characterized by economics, by Naira and Kobo? Do you see it changing? Because you mentioned spending to get into office, but you spend in office and you spend to return back to office. So that spending just seems to continue forever. Do you see that changing and really moving to a politics that focuses less on the economics?
One of the consequences of the kind of politics we have now is, of course, that when the politicians spend so much to buy votes, immediately they go and spend so much just to win elections. Immediately they go into office, their first priority is to recover their losses. This feeds corruption. Inflated contracts, direct stealing from the treasury, all these things. So that's why I'm running for president. Because, and there are a lot of other new generation kind of candidates running for president, and most of us are running on the basis of ideas or visions. I have a very clear vision for this country, which I took the time to write out in a book called Build, Innovate, and Grow, My Vision for Nigeria. And I'm the only presidential candidate who has done this. And that shows that before I came out, I thought through Nigeria's problems of nation building, economic management, leadership and governance, foreign affairs, and offered my visions, then identifying the problem and offering the solution. That's what I have done. And I hope that as we go into future elections, it will be based more and more on competing visions of the economy and the political space than on the competition of financial resources.
So how have you been able to fund all of this?
Good question. It's been a combination of a lot of Nigerians who support my vision, donating and contributing to my campaign, and my own personal resources, which I've spent sacrificially.
Thank you, Professor Moghalu.
You're welcome.
We'll be going on a quick break on Politico Politica, but before then, we'd like to hear from you on our topic of the day, the economics of politics. Use the hashtag Politico Politica, tweet at PP with Isabella. On Facebook and Instagram, the handle to follow is Politico Politica. The show returns shortly. Join us again.